Welcome back to Good Morning Colorado. You're taking a live look at Civic Center Park in Denver. The time right now is 6:42. You can see it's a beautiful day here in southern Colorado. I've been saying it all morning, but to tell us what else we can expect for the rest of our Labor Day weekend, let's send things over to Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinicique. Marty, what's going on?
Heat. That's what's going on. That's an easy answer to the question about the rest of the weekend. Just get ready for the heat. Here comes the sun, as seen from Ordway right now. That's our VO wireless neighborhood weather network camera out there in Crowley County. Just a couple of clouds and pretty nice temperatures, really. Most areas are in the 50s and 60s in eastern Colorado, with 40s up across the mountains and mountain valleys. Futurecast shows that at least through the morning hours will be beautifully sunny. We'll probably have a few clouds over the mountains late. There's, and I hesitate to call it this, a little bit of a remnant of the monsoon flow over the extreme southern parts of the state where we could have some very brief showers, but I don't think those are going to amount to much. And for the vast majority of you, that's not going to be an issue today. Just a little breezy at times and hot. Highs in the 90s to around 100 degrees for lower elevations in eastern Colorado, with 70s and 80s up high. And you'll have to get real high to get into the 70s today. I think even Cripple Creek's going to be close to 80 degrees. So we'll have mid-80s around Teller County, low 90s in Colorado Springs. 94 would be the record high in Colorado Springs today. If we fall short, it'll be by about a degree. The wind could probably start to pick up to about 15 to 20 miles an hour this afternoon, but it's light this morning, so we think that the activities surrounding the balloons will probably go off pretty well this morning. Looking for mid to upper 90s from Pueblo westward through Canyon City today. Should be in the 80s around Westcliff. Once you hit about Pueblo Airport-ish area, start heading east, I do think we'll be in the triple digits as we head into the afternoon. We need 102 in Pueblo to tie the old record. Again, if you're watching from extreme southern parts of the state near the mountains, maybe you get a sprinkle. Futurecast tries to show one of these things popping up across the top of Pikes Peak. That thing can be a 14,000-foot thunderstorm generator, but it's so dry at lower elevations that anything the mountain tries to produce is likely going to evaporate before it gets anywhere near the lower elevations. And so we'll just have a few clouds around and maybe some wind. And through 9 o'clock, I think probably pretty quiet conditions. The rest of the night looks clear. We'll cool off pretty nicely once the sun goes down because that air is so dry. And so once again, as hot as it's going to be today, by tomorrow morning, we'll likely be back in the 50s to lower 60s on the plains and likely into the 30s over the mountains and mountain valleys. It's just some really, really dry air. And that stuff tends to cool off pretty effectively now that the nights are getting a little longer. Beautiful sunrise is seen from our WireNet camera up on top of Cheyenne Mountain looking east this morning. Again, there's a little bit of a haze on the horizon line, and that's still some of the smoke, but it's not terribly thick this morning, and we can see pretty well. So I think all things considered, and the way it's been the last few weeks, pretty good day in that regard. So we're tracking record heat, kind of mentioned that. And then, sure, why not in the same breath turn around and say then we'll track record cold and wind and rain and snow. Yeah, I'm just not quite sure. I don't mind the snow. I'm just not sure I'm ready for that now.
I know, I feel like it's too early, but you were talking about this isn't the earliest we've seen snow and this kind of cold come into Colorado.
No, if I remember correctly, and I'm old so I forget things, but I want to say it was trace of snow as early as September 1st in Colorado Springs, and the first measurable snow, which was something like 4 inches, was like on September 4th. So we're not, completely historic, with this, but it's still not real common.
Definitely. We'll be ready for it, Marty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.